If you want to know what a Band 7 Plus response to an IELTS Part 2 speaking question sounds like, then this video is for you. I'll be giving you a full response to the question, describe an energetic person that you know, with a breakdown of why I answered the way I answered afterwards. My name is Kevin. I'm a former IELTS examiner and a current IELTS speaking teacher. Let's get started. So as you can see, the cue card says, describe an energetic person you know. Now, there are some bullet points underneath the cue card. It says you should say who the person is, how you know them, what they do that shows they are energetic, and explain how you feel about this person. Remember though, you do not need to use these bullet points if you do not want to. They're really there to help you if you can't think of anything to say. If you have a good story to tell and you don't cover all these points, don't worry about it. As an examiner, I never paid attention to these points. I only cared if you were answering the question. I was not sitting there ticking boxes that you said as you answered your question. So don't worry about it. If you want to prepare along with me, pause the video now and do your own 1-minute preparation and time and record yourself answering the question. Remember to speak for 2 minutes before you listen to my own response. After I give my response, we'll analyze it a bit more. And I am going to start my response to the question, describe an energetic person you know, in 3, 2, 1. An energetic person that I know is my former boss, Laura. Laura was a judge at a courthouse that I worked at when I used to be a lawyer. Laura's the kind of person who just did not stop. Even outside of work, she was always active and involved in everything. She worked a lot. She was also in a lot of organizations and charities, and she had a lot of hobbies. I remember that she lived in a big house with lots of property, and they loved to plant trees, to plant flowers, to put out vegetable gardens. Laura did all of this and always had time. I think what made her stand out to me was that outside of her career, which was very busy, she found so much time to give back to the community. Like I said, she was in a lot of charities and organizations, and it's not that she was only volunteering at these charities and organizations. That often she was in leadership positions. She really gave it her all and just never stopped. I remember in particular, there was an art charity that operated in a nearby city, and Laura was on the board that managed it, but she was also really involved with calling vendors, with calling art sellers, with planning permission from the city, with setting things up. But then on the day of or right before the art show, she was also out there putting up tents, putting chairs out, getting completely ready. She did everything and always had the energy. I don't know how she did it, but I really admired her. Okay, so that was my part 2 response. I tried to do it as realistically as possible so it wasn't as smooth as I normally speak, because I feel you, speaking for 2 minutes with 1 minute of preparation is difficult. But if we look at my answer, and please at any point go back and listen again, we can see that it breaks down into that idea method that we've talked about in some other videos. For example, the I in identify. I very clearly and very quickly identified who I was going to be talking about. My former boss, Laura. A lot of times students like to play around or take too much time at this step. They'll say something like, thank you, today I want to be able to talk about a trip I took one time. Who cares? You're wasting time. Just jump in. An energetic person I know is my former boss, Laura. A trip I took is to Hanoi, Vietnam. A movie I saw that I liked is The Avengers. Do not waste a lot of time on the introduction to your speech because you're using very simple language and you just don't need to waste a lot of time here. Next, in describe, I really gave you a lot of little examples of why I found Laura an energetic person. I was talking about her career, her professional life, her volunteer activities, things she did at home. I wasn't doing deep dives into any of these, but I was painting a very broad picture, giving several descriptions of what made Laura an energetic person. I think the bulk of my answer was in the next two sections. The E, of course, is explain. I explained why I found her energetic. Note, this isn't just more description, right? This is really talking about the motivations behind why she was doing what she was doing. It's a deeper analysis than simply describing what she did. I was talking about her drive. I was talking about how she gave things back to the community. And finally, I ended with a solid example of the art show that Laura volunteered at and was a pivotal part of. Again, it was a specific personal example that I was able to really talk about and that added something to the story. In the idea formula, I think the E and the A, the explain and the add an example at the end are the most important. That is where you're sharing something that really only you can share. If someone else were giving this answer, they might explain in a different way. It might have made them feel a different way, and they might have given a different example. Remember, the last thing you want to do is to give the same answer that everyone else is giving when you're answering your part two. You want to be an individual. You want to be something unique for your examiner. And it's when you're giving those unique answers that your personality is really going to shine through. And that because it's personal, because it's only you, you'll relax. You'll naturally give a better, more fluent, more coherent response with better vocabulary. I promise you that is what's going to happen. You must be personal. So why is this answer band 7+? Well, of course, we're using decent vocabulary, or more than decent. I have idiomatic terms, I have precise vocabulary, I have collocations. I'm using a range of cohesive devices and connectives. My grammar and sentence structure are mixed, and my pronunciation is clear and intonation is natural. But still, this gives you an idea of a proposed model answer for this question. So what do you do now? Now it's your turn. Do mock test conditions. Take the cue card, give 1 minute preparation time, and speak for 2 minutes. Record yourself and follow the idea method that I just used and we've talked about in other videos. If you want to type out what you're going to say, put it in the comments below and I will leave my review of it. As always, if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up and a subscription. And until next time, happy studies.